This is like when airplanes were new and people were saying, sure, they look like they're flying right now, but they're going to drop any day. They're going to drop out of the sky like rocks. You'd be crazy to get on an airplane because they don't understand the engineering. They didn't understand anything of how it worked. They didn't understand lift and drag. And indeed, these things were a little bit more dangerous initially before they were mastered and the jet engine and modern aviation was created. People don't walk around saying airplanes are all going to fall out of the sky. It's a game of musical chairs. At some point in time, it's just going to stop, because they trust the physics now, not because they actually understand the physics. Though they just see airplanes don't drop out of the sky. And what we've seen for 17 straight years right now is Bitcoin not falling out of the sky. No errors, no double spends, no block reorganizations, no errors introduced into the history of this thing. This thing is the most rock solid invention in the history of humanity as far as data integrity is concerned. In order to make any change to Bitcoin's history, you need to get into the blockchain more energy than has been used since that entry was made. And this thing is using so much energy that there's not enough energy available to rewrite any portion of it, and there isn't enough equipment, and all the equipment is being used to add to it because the incentive is to earn more Bitcoin rather than to try to undo a spend of Bitcoin, which isn't worth as much and will be worth even less if you damaged Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is shielded against any kind of attack, right? Everyone who runs a node anywhere in the world has a complete copy of the entire history with all the proof of work that's been done on all the transactions that have been done. So if you wipe out half of the earth and the other half of the earth is still fine, Bitcoin is still fine because it's on both halves of the earth. It's in fact in every location pretty much that has an internet connection. There's somebody running Bitcoin. If you launch nuclear missiles, you won't destroy Bitcoin, right? You have to destroy all of the power grid all over the world and all of the internet all over the world. And the internet was designed to be decentralized so that as long as any server is running and connected to any other server, there's internet connectivity there. Bitcoin is essentially indestructible. And not just indestructible, but immalleable. So it's much safer to put your savings in Bitcoin and you'll have your Bitcoin always than it is to fly in an airplane, which is an incredibly safe thing to do. And I don't worry about flying in an airplane. So like when people who don't understand any of this stuff go around reading the news written by reporters who don't understand any of what's going on and say this thing is a game of musical chairs and the music can stop any minute and the thing will stop. They don't have a clue what they're talking about, and they're not scientific and they're not mathematical. They're just flapping their gums. So running a node is nothing. If you want to run a 24/7 node and get involved in Lightning and self-custody, which as a student of Bitcoin, I recommend it. You're very curious. You want to understand about the hashes. You want to see how things work. It's one thing to understand how planes fly, and it's another thing to get yourself a little plane and fly it.